The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome Dung-Eater, and Sir Gideon Othmere, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the
From there, we
strength
travel
of
north
runes, and
really
without
early
an
on. If you
invitation
don't know,
to the round table
allows you to
hold,
perform a
you are fated
pretty brutal two-hit
it
combo.
seems,
And once again, the fact
to
that
die in obscurity.
you can already see this when equipped, vulnerable to guard. For our next weapon, we're going on a little trip to a region called Sword of Night and Flame. Them up, it's pretty good for clearing groups too. To find one of the giant convoys that roam around the world. Kill the enemies and loot the chest in the back to find the Carrion Knight's sword, a magical longsword that requires some intelligence to use. It has a pretty cool weapon art where you magically extend the blade for a giant slash, but it's also pretty slow and therefore kind of hard to use. The main reason we want to pick this up is so we can dual wield it with the Sword of Night and Flame later on. After that, we move on, still following the road north until we reach the King's Realm ruins. Here you have to get past an illusory wall, so as soon as you reach this spot, hit the wall with an attack and it should disappear. Behind it is a grace point and an NPC that we definitely want to talk to, e.g. the blacksmith. This gentle giant is not only a friendly NPC who can upgrade your weapons for you, he also sells somber smithing stones, which are used to upgrade weapons. And you might have already guessed it, but that amazing Sword of Night and Flame is one of those weapons, so as soon as we get it, we can come back here to EG to upgrade it. So we hop back on our mount and travel to the main Taria Mammoth Gate. Magical arrow barrages will start raining down on you when you get close, but I found that if you stay off the main road, they will not come close enough to hit you. And now from here we want to very carefully make our way over to the next grace point in the area. And I do mean carefully, as this area is home to some of the creepiest enemies I've come across so far. Like, what do we even call these? Hand spiders? I'm going with hand spiders. Anyway, these guys like to set up traps for you. They are hanging from the walls, some have dug themselves in so you can only see their fingertips sticking out of the ground, and if you get too close, they will grab you immediately. You can use a spirit summon here to make your life a bit easier, and by hugging the left wall and looking around to make sure you know where the hand spiders are hidden, you will eventually reach this building. It is guarded by one big hand spider and two smaller ones, but we can just run in, and upstairs is the second grace point. And from that one, it's pretty much a straight shot to the weapon. Go outside and run along the catwalk, just ignore the enemies that spawn, and then take a left at the first tower and a right at the second. After that, you will spot a building to your left. Jump down on it from the catwalk and keep moving, as we will need to jump on another building with a hole in the roof. Once you've reached that, take the ladder down into the hole and you will find a chest with the amazing Sword of Night and Flame in it. And like we mentioned, if you have some spare runes, you can immediately go back to EG to upgrade it a few levels if you want. Also, if you picked up the Carrion Knight sword earlier, you can now dual wield two long swords which both deal magic damage. In case you didn't know, if you equip two weapons of the same type, you can use a dual wield moveset by pressing the attack button on your left hand, so L1 or LB. I really enjoy running around with two swords. I mean, it looks cool and you deal tons of damage, but you do of course lose the defensive option of a shield, so it's definitely more of a risk-reward playstyle. Now there is one big downside to this amazing Sword of Night and Flame, and that is the fact that it requires both 24 intelligence and 24 fate for it to work. Now my fate was very low when I got this, so I went to farm some runes to get the levels I needed. And I'll touch on the method I used to farm these runes in a bit. It's very easy and you can do it early on without killing enemies. You can use the timestamps to skip ahead if you want, but first there's another amazing item you can get early on that will give you life back on critical hits. And in order to get this item, we want to go back to Limgrave and head for the Death Touch Catacombs, which are over here on the map. Maybe you remember it from an earlier video, as we also mentioned you can get the amazing Uchi-Katana here, but this time we're back with a vengeance as we want to kill the dungeon boss. Make your way through the dungeon, and if you choose to fight, of course remember to give the skeletons a little love tap while they're reforming, just to make sure that they stay dead. You can also just run to the lever required to open the boss door if you want. You need to go down into the catacombs, so go right in the first room, head down the stairs, and then you can already see the lever in the distance. Pull it and the door to the boss will open. Now I didn't have too much trouble with this guy. He's pretty agile, but overwhelming him with the help of summons really did the trick for me. I used the skeletal militiaman in this fight, which we mentioned in our mistakes you don't want to make video. Go watch that one if you haven't already, because there's some pretty cool tips in that one too. But once you manage to defeat the boss, he will drop the Assassin's Crimson Dagger. This talisman lets you restore health on critical hits, which in Elden Ring mean a backstab or a frontal repulse after breaking enemy posture. And we already mentioned this in an earlier video too, but if you've been using the new jumping, charged heavy and guard deflect attacks a lot, you already know that breaking enemy posture regularly really improves your damage, as it sets the enemy up for a very powerful counterattack. But now, thanks to this talisman, every time you perform one of these powerful follow-up attacks, you get healed as well. And it heals a pretty significant bit of your health, as you can see here. I'm at figure 15, so not super high, but even still, one riposte restores a pretty decent part of my health bar. So this is a really useful item which makes sure that you can stay healed up without using your flask, and you can get this one as well as soon as you enter the world. Alright, now it's time to discuss that farm I mentioned earlier, which is all the way over here in Caleb. But don't worry, we're going to make use of a teleporter that allows us to visit this specific region from the start of the game. If you've already found and visited Gurranq, you can start from the Bastille Sanctum, but if you didn't, you can find the teleporter I mentioned near the 3rd Church of Marika, over here on the map. It can be difficult to spot as it's hidden in the water behind some bushes, but since it's glowing, it shouldn't be too hard for you to find. After using it, we're now way over here on the map, and we want to head southeast to find a path down, which will lead us to the Lenny's Rise Grace point on the map. And don't just ride down the road that leads to a giant bridge. It might seem like the obvious route here, but there's a not so friendly dragon there, so instead we're taking another path which is more to the east and leads down. You can easily find it if you go to the left of the bridge, and you'll know you're in the right place if you start seeing these giant pieces of rubble. Just ignore the enemies on the road. There are also a lot of poison traps here, but you don't have to worry about them too much as we're heading for a grace point anyway, and it's not that far. Once you've reached it, activate the grace point and we can start our farm. So what we want to do is jump on our mount and head down the path that leads under the giant bridge. Pretty soon, before you even reach the bridge, a giant ball will be spawned behind you in the middle of the road. It will be launched straight at you, so move to the side of the cliff, dodge it and watch it fall off. And if you do manage to get it to fall off, it should give you a little under 2,000 runes. Move on further down the path until you cross the giant tree root, after which another ball will spawn, so we dodge that too and get another 1952 runes. Then we use the map to teleport back to Lenny's Rise, rinse and repeat until you have all the runes you need. One tip is that I sometimes didn't get the runes for the first ball, but I found that if I stuck close to the edge and made sure that I actually watched it fall, made sure I got my runes most of the time. You can also make the farm a bit faster by using an item known as a gold pickled fowl foot. We'll leave a link to the Vextra Life page for this item so you can check where to find one, but having this item active raises your runes from 1952 to 2537 per ball. So it might take some time, but once you've farmed enough runes to properly wield that Sword of Night and Flame, you'll have a weapon that can pretty much carry you through the entire game. So have fun with this amazing weapon. Remember to leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one, and if you want, you can watch our previous video on some amazing items you can get very early in the game. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!
The original character. Asmongold. Alright, let's do it.
Offer you an accord.
It's been a while. I haven't played this character in like forever. Okay.
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens?
I think volume should be fine too.
They
I think it's in Leyndell, right?
Fingers, offering
It's
guidance
like right up at
aid to the tarnished.
Where the fuck is it?
I am afraid.
Altas East. Oh, I think this is it right here.
I can play the role of maiden.
There's 3. There's one in Limgrave too. Okay.
Turning
Well, let's go to the
into
one in
strength
Limgrave.
To aid you in your search
Yeah, where
for
is
the
it?
Elden Ring.
Let's travel to
You
here.
need only take me with you to the foot of the earth.
You need to go to all 3 Colosseums to lock all 3 modes. Okay.
Then it's settled.
Let's try this out.
Summon me by grace to turn runes
Okay.
into strength.
Let me just make sure I still know how to do it. Yep, okay.
Ah, another matter.
Alright.
I bequeath
We
to
know what
you
we're doing.
this ring.
North? Okay. Let's go north.
Use it to
Alrighty.
traverse great distances.
Try this out. Big bonk.
It will
Yep, that's
summon
it.
a spectral steed named Torrent.
Okay.
Torrent
So-
has chosen you.
Is that something
Treat him
new?
with
No, I don't
respect.
think it is. For a second, I thought that was a player. Where is it? You can see it on the map. It's a big circle. Okay, let me try to get out of combat. Okay. It's a big... Oh, that! Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go over there right now. Put a mark on the map. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I didn't realize that's what you meant. Okay, let's try this out. Fuck them. I remember this weapon made so many people mad. It was actually really fun to play this game the first time. For that exact reason. Okay. So this is the Colosseum. Alright. Well, let's see what happens. I think, is it closed? Go left? Okay. Sure, why not? Oh. Oh shit. Alright, let's do it. So this is it. Limgrave Coliseum. To engage in combat with other players, touch the effigy of Marika in the Coliseum. United combat and combat ordeals can be undertaken in this venue. In United Combat, 2 teams of fighters clash. Combat ordeals are all-out brawls in which every combatant is out for themselves. Okay. Inter-Coliseum combat. And what's this? You don't have the right. Oh, you do. Okay, very fucking funny. Inter-Coliseum combat. Combat ordeal, 2 combatants. Spirit actions prohibited. Coliseum password. Venue Limgrave Coliseum. Okay.
Why won't anyone look me in the eye?
I'll probably win this game. More than 2? Well, let me just try. I want to just try the first one, okay? Okay, it says all combats have been assembled. How the fuck? Okay. Okay. I got his ass. Fuck yeah, I beat him. Now what? Who's this? Wait, what? Huh? Why does he fucking... Hey. Okay. He's dead. Do I get a heal back or something? He a dead ass, good. fuck did that hit me?
Yeah, you there. Stop pretending you can't see me.
Okay.
Look me in the eye. I'm not ugly, am I?
Got him. I'm almost dead. I'll use this thing too.
Oh, yes. I remember. Some clod turning me into a tree.
Okay.
You were just breaking the spell, weren't you? I was pushed out of the cave. Told not to come back.
Holy shit, I'm destroying this guy.
Ended up as a tree. Lucky you came along, really.
Yeah, I was worried. I was like not gonna go very well.
When they... And so this is my hope. Or I could then... rhyme.
Shit. Okay, alright, so he got me. So this guy's just getting fucking wrecked though, right? Fair enough, yeah, that's fine. Okay, he got me there. Alright. It's okay. I know what he's gonna do. Focusing. How the fuck did that not hit him? Oh, he would have been dead. He'd have been dead. He'd have been dead. That was easy. Well, this guy got destroyed. Yeah, that guy got just fucking annihilated. Holy shit, I'm a god. Okay, so 2 combatants, 4. Okay, let's do 4 combatants. Let's see what this is. Still on low MMR? Wait, you think there's an MMR for this? No way there's an MMR. There is? I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I'll go to top MMR pretty fast. Like, trust me, like, it's what this is what I do to them, right? I jump and then I attack. They never expect that. The reason why they don't expect that is like they don't expect somebody dumb enough to do that. Oh, there's 4. Wait, what? Pikachu? What the fuck? So what is he doing? Okay, he's dead. Okay. I was not, dude. I was not. Bro, I was not even close. What the fuck was that? Wait. Okay. Got him, got him, got him. Got his ass, got his ass. Okay, alright, that's fine. That's an easy GG. There we go.
In this video, we're going to be talking about making a mage build in Elden Ring at the start of the game, how to get started as a mage, and what are the things you should do at the beginning in order to get off on the right foot. I like to begin the game in Elden Ring as an astrologer when I'm trying to play as a mage. I feel like this gives you the best toolkit. You start with a staff, you start with Glintstone Arc and Glintstone Pebble, two spells that will hold you in good stead throughout the whole course of the game, and really gives you what you need to play as a mage right out the gate. By comparison, Prisoner just doesn't have the same spell set, so it'll be a little bit longer before you can get to the same place in terms of casting, although it has other advantages in other ways. But if you're just trying to play as a primary mage, I feel like Astrologer is the way to go. As far as keepsakes go, I always recommend the Golden Seed to new players. It gives you an extra flask, which can be a huge advantage, particularly when you're being a mage, because you can put that into, an FP flask, allowing you to get more spells off. It's not super important what you pick, but again, if you're a new player, Golden Seed is the way to go. Now, when talking about a mage, playing a mage in Elden Ring is not that difficult compared to other Souls games, in my opinion, mostly because you're able to maintain your resources so you can play primarily as a spellcaster without ever needing to melee in a lot of cases. Now, in order to accomplish that, you're going to have to set your flasks in a way that's mostly mana-based, meaning you're going to need the blue flasks far more than the health ones. The strategy is obviously not to get hit, so you shouldn't need to heal very often because you're trying to stay out of harm's way. So you're going to skew your flasks, 90% to the mana side and like 10% to the health side when possible, except in certain scenarios. But that's basically how you want to play so that you always have enough to kill the enemies with spells. One really great thing in Elden Ring 2 is that when you kill difficult enemies or groups of enemies, you replenish a certain amount of flasks, and there are also like scarabs around the landscape that you can kill that replenish flasks. So this gives you even more ways to get that resource back without resting, so that you always have enough FP in order to cast your spells. Diving into the attributes of a mage, primarily you're going to want intelligence. This is what's going to increase your damage with your spells, and also any weapon that you use an Ash of War on that has like a magic type Ash of War that makes it have scaling off the intelligence stat. So you're going to want to focus pretty heavily on intelligence. Keep in mind that spellcasting also consumes stamina when you cast, so it may not be a bad idea to have some endurance as well. In my experience, you don't need to go crazy with endurance. You can still do just fine with low endurance, but you probably want to like at least 15 or so, maybe 20. And the reason for that is because you want to be able to cast spells, and then you want to be able to dodge out of the way afterward. If you exhaust all your stamina casting, and then don't have any stamina to dodge, if an enemy is aggressive, you could be in a really tight spot. But you don't want to spend a lot of points in endurance early on, because you need to boost your damage rapidly in order to keep pace with the enemies. Beyond intelligence, the other two attributes you should probably have some points in are vigor, in order to take a hit or two. You don't want to go crazy again here, because again, your strategy is to not get hit, but putting a few points here will help you, survive a potential one-shot. All you need to do is survive the one-shot attacks. As long as you have enough health to survive one-shots, you have enough health. And then the other attribute is Mind. Mind will allow you to cast more spells before needing to chug pots. It makes your pots go further, because every time you use one, if you use it at the end of, let's say you exhaust your whole FP bar, then you're actually gaining more back with those pots. So you definitely want to spend points in Mind as well, but you want to lean heavily into intelligence and then have some points in endurance, vigor, and Mind. There's no attunement attribute like there are in the Souls games, if you're familiar with those, that allow you to slot more spells. Instead, your memory slots will increase as you find items throughout the game. So I try not to worry about memory slots and how to increase them. They will increase naturally as you progress the game. Moving on to early mage equipment, probably the biggest thing is getting yourself a better staff early on. Now, there is one that you can get called the Demigod Staff or something like this that's in the Weeping Peninsula. There's a, field boss there, mini boss. I don't even think it has a health bar that you can kill pretty quickly in that area. that will drop you a staff that has much better scaling than the one you begin the game with. Or you can find the Meteorite Staff, which is in a runes over in here. You can check the exact location on the wiki. It's called Meteorite Staff. That has S scaling, but you can't upgrade it. So it's a really good early game staff that has fantastic scaling in terms of the damage that you deal, but not being able to upgrade it, it's going to be outpaced by other staves throughout the course of the game. But if you're just talking about the very beginning of the game, you might want to ride over there. You literally don't have to kill anything. You go right into the runes, open the chest, get it. You have an S scaling staff right out the gate. It's fantastic. Besides the staves, you're going to want to get more spells. Obviously, you're a mage. There is a sorcerer trainer not very far into the game in Limgrave in the Waypoint Ruins. It's the same place that it was located in the network test, if you're familiar with that. Sorcerer Selin is going to sell you stuff if you defeat the boss in front of her. There's actually a scroll you can get that's just a little bit south of there also that you can get for that increase the spells that she sells. Some very good spells there, so make sure you pick those up if you need more spells. Speaking about the spells themselves, Glintstone Pebble is a spell that you're going to use throughout the course of the game. It's a staple. It's basically like Soul Arrow from the Souls games. It has very low cost, it deals decent damage for the cost, and has exceptional range. It tracks the target. One of the things that you're going to find out throughout the course of the game is that a lot of spells, while their damage is incredibly high, have very long cast time, or they cost way too much FP for the damage they deal. So you can actually deal the same amount or more damage with a different spell as long as you cast it a couple of times. And because Glintstone Pebble, for instance, can be cast quite quickly in rapid succession, it can sometimes outperform some of the strongest spells in the game. But that brings up another point, which is make sure that you hold down some spells. A lot of spells have like bonus effects if you hold the button down, or they're meant to be channeled by holding the R1 button down. So make sure you do that for a lot of spells as well. I also want to make a mention here for the sort of arch-type spells, the ones that put the daggers above your head. There's a couple variations of these. They are not very mana efficient. The damage they deal is substantial in a lot of cases, but they're not very mana efficient. What I would suggest doing, if you like that spell, because it's a very good spell against aggressive enemies, particularly aggressive bosses, is get the Ashes of War Glintstone Arch, put that on your melee weapon, like a cheap melee weapon or whatever, and when you are fighting an aggressive boss, instead of using the spell, use the Ash of War. It is tremendously effective. The damage is about the same as the spell, as long as you're upgrading the sword. And the cost is a fraction. Like, we're talking like a quarter of that of the spell. So you'll outperform the actual spell itself with that Ash of War. So make sure you have that Ash of War if you like that spell and use that instead. Those are the mage items you need early on to get off to a good start. There are a lot more good mage items found in Rayo Lucaria Academy, but that's not something you're going to do right out of the gate. So these are the things that are going to get you started on the right path as a mage. Just a couple final tips. Remember that casting costs stamina, even when on horseback. So if you're on horseback and you're flinging away your spells and then you get in a situation where you need to boost Torrent to get out of a melee attack, if you have no stamina, that's not going to happen. So make sure you pay attention to your stamina, particularly when you're on horseback using magic, so that you can boost the hell out of there if you get in a bad spot. Another point is that dexterity reduces cast speed. I don't know what the percentages are on this. I don't know how much reduction you get per point spent. I haven't done a lot of testing, because early on in the game you want to pump intelligence in order to increase your damage. You're not so worried about cast time, but how much actual damage your spells are dealing. But if you are playing further and further into the game as the mage, you may want to look into adding some points into dexterity in order to increase your cast times and make some of these harder hitting spells more viable, ones that take a little bit longer to cast. And lastly, I do recommend at some point getting a 100% physical block shield that meets your requirements. You can look on the wiki for locations for these. It's good to have in a pinch. Sometimes an enemy gets too close and you just can't drop down the way of time, and it's better to absorb that more than to take a big hit. So make sure you find one of these shields and keep it, just in case you need it for certain scenarios. That's it for a beginner mage build. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Are you going to be playing a mage at the start of the game? What build are you going to be playing? Let us know in the comments below.
Welcome back to Elden Ring. In this video, we are going through the most powerful mage build you can get early in the game. I did a beginner guide for this before, and after messing around with the game for a long time, watching other videos and stuff, and just basically building up my knowledge of the astrologer class, I have figured out a huge build for an early astrologer. This is insane, the amount of damage and stuff you can pull off with this. And just quickly, before we get any further into the video, if you're not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like. All support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description, and let's get into it. So the very first thing, as you create your character, you're going to select the golden seed as your keepsake. That's going to give you an extra flask. What you then want to do is make your way to Limgrave. So you're going to start in the Cave of Knowledge, the Stranded Graveyard, make your way to the first step. From here, you're going to head north up to Church of Ella. Then after that, you're going to make your way up to Gatefront. You're going to collect your mount. Then what you're going to want to do is head back to Church of Ella, and you are going to see a spirit sat on the wall. Interact. You are going to get a spirit calling bell and the Lone Wolf Ashes spirit so that you can summon. When it comes to your stats, the one you want to focus primarily on is intelligence. Get that as high as you possibly can. And then secondary, you want to look at vigor. Don't make it as high. I'm probably going to get mine to 25 and then intelligence up to like 40, maybe even 50 plus. But put as many points as you possibly can into intelligence, because it's going to come in so handy. It's going to boost all of your damage and everything. You can put a couple of points into mind. It's nowhere near as important as vigor and intelligence though. Dexterity, don't worry about it on this build, and the same goes for every other one. The only reason I've pumped a couple of points into strength and got it up to 12 is to wield the Morning Star, because I did the dragon rune glitch thing. So from Gatefront, what we're going to do is we're going to head southeast, and we're going to come past this bridge here. Then you're going to keep going round, and you are going to come to the Waypoint Ruin Cellar. You're going to have to take down a Pumpkinhead boss when you get down there, but if we fast travel over there, I'm going to show you something that you can do to help out with spells in the early game. So you take down the Pumpkinhead boss, and you've got a door there with a vendor in, but we're going to ignore the vendor for now. What we are going to do is we are going to start heading south. Ignore all the enemies if you can. And what we are doing is aiming for that hill over there. Go all the way to the top, and you see the structure that stands out as like a building on the left hand side. We're going to make it onto that roof. But what you want to do is come up here and then just jump across. You're going to grab that, which is the Royal House Scroll. And then we're going to jump off here. So back to the cellar we go, and then if we open the door, there is a vendor in here, so we're going to do all the talking. And in the list, you want to get Carrion Slicer, and you want to grab yourself a Glint Blade Phalanx. So the reason we have picked up Glint Blade Phalanx and Carrion Slicer is because they are way better than just spamming Glintstone Pebble all the time. But now what we're going to do is, from the Waypoint Ruin Cellar, make your way all the way down south. So just follow the main road, go across this bridge, and you're going down into Weeping Peninsula, specifically to Castle Morn Rampart. So as soon as you have spawned in, what you're going to do is jump on your horse, and over to the east there is going to be a spirit spring. So just jump whilst you're on your mount, and we are heading for that tower. So if we come over here, the door is going to be locked off by a spell. You can see there's a massive like blue wall there. So we are going to examine this, seek 3 wise beasts, and then I'm just going to hit that one directly in front, round to the left hand side, hiding in a bush. You're going to see another one. It's 3 tortoises you have to deal with, and then round here in the pond, as soon as you see a splash. Where is it? Okay, it's not splashing. Lucky I know from doing this on other characters that, yeah, I know his location. He's supposed to splash, But now the seal is going to be broken. We're going to climb this ladder all the way to the top. When you get to the top, you're going to come outside and around the outside of the tower, go up the stairs. In here, open this, and we have a memory stone in here. So with the memory stone, we can now memorize an extra spell. So if we go back to a site of grace, what we're going to do is pop into memorize spell, and we are going to get rid of glintstone arc. We are going to put on glintstone phalanx, and then we're going to take carrion slicer as well. If you're stuck gathering the runes to buy new spells, you can take out the big guys in the caravan. You can do some of the rune glitches in the game. You can access all of them from the very start, or at least most of the good ones. And then just basically farm the enemies. The tougher the enemy, the more runes you'll be awarded, and then you'll be able to get your spells. So the reason we have Glint Blade Phalanx is because if I annoy this guy, and then if I cast the spell, these swords are going to sit with me, and as soon as I face the enemy, they are going to release and attack. So it's going to be very, very good for aggressive enemies, because whilst you're away from them, it doesn't do anything, it just sits there. And then, as soon as you face them, it attacks them, so you can kind of keep your distance. So, Glint Blade Phalanx is going to be very good for the aggressive enemies. You turn away, you cast a spell, and then you mess them up when you face them. And Carrion Slicer is going to be really, really good for single enemies, because he's supposed to be hiding in a bush. You're going to see another one. It's 3 tortoises you have to deal with. And then around here in the pond, as soon as you see a splash. Where is it? Okay, it's not splashing. It's lucky I know that from doing this on other characters that, yeah. I know his location. He's supposed to splash. But now the seal is going to be broken. We're going to climb this ladder all the way to the top. When you get to the top, you're going to come outside and around the outside of the tower, go up the stairs. In here, open this, and we have a memory stone in here. So with the memory stone, we can now memorize an extra spell. So if we go back to a site of grace, what we're going to do is pop into memorize spell, and we are going to get rid of glintstone arc. We are going to put on glintstone phalanx, and then we're going to take carrion slicer as well. If you're stuck gathering the runes to buy new spells, you can take out the big guys of the caravans. You can do some of the rune glitches in the game. You can access all of them from the very start, or at least most of the good ones. And then just basically farm the enemies. The tougher the enemy, the more runes you'll be awarded, and then you'll be able to get your spells. So the reason we have Glint Blade Phalanx is because if I annoy this guy, and then if I cast the spell, these swords are going to sit with me, and as soon as I face the enemy, they are going to release and attack. So it's going to be very, very good for aggressive enemies, because whilst you're away from them, it doesn't do anything, it just sits there. And then, as soon as you face them, it attacks them, so you can kind of keep your distance. So, Glint Blade Phalanx is going to be very good for the aggressive enemies. You turn away, you cast a spell, and then you mess them up when you face them. And Carrion Slicer is going to be really, really good for single enemies, because it's going to attack very quickly. They don't get a chance to attack you. If I get this guy's aggro and cast a spell, there we go. Absolutely no chance. But the thing is with these spells, they are just the very beginning. We've got much better spells coming. So the next step is back to the first step. And when I say the first step, I mean the site of grace. So as soon as you spawn in, we're going to head east, and we are going to Dragon Burnt Ruins. So if we don't get zapped on our way down, and there we go. That's how you deal with a group. Got myself a rune arc as well. Very nice. They have absolutely no chance. So we're now going to open this door, and inside is going to be a chest. We open the chest, and oh no, we got ensnared in a transporter trap. We're being taken away. So when it transports you through the trap, what we're going to do is run straight away. You can sneak past these, which I'm kind of doing right now. Be careful, because there is... Oh my god, it actually made me jump. There is a sniper. So drop down, touch Grace. Now what we're going to do is, as soon as we get outside, we'll summon our mount. And what we are doing from here is we are going to follow this path. We are in the swamp, but there is a ruins here. Be careful of all the enemies. And over here, I'll show you the map location in a second. We are going to make our way down these stairs. Once you have opened the door, you are going to have a chest in here. You open it up, you search the loot, and you have got rock sling. So when you spawn in through the transporter thing, it's going to put you here. So this is Celia Crystal Tunnel. And compared to where you start at the first step, it's over to the northeast. And once you start there, you're just going to come south and follow it round until you get to the ruins. So if we get back on our mount and out of here, here are the stairs that lead down to get rock sling. Head south from there, not west. I went west first for absolutely no reason. And then double jump up here. Jump off your mount. And then come along this wall. Grab yourself the meteorite staff. So now, to ditch the astrologer's staff, we're going to switch it out with the meteorite staff. It's a tiny bit heavier, but if you look at the attribute scaling, it's S tier for the intelligence. Intelligence will improve the damage that this staff deals. But not only that, if you look at the passive effects, it boosts gravity sorcery. Rock Sling is a gravity spell. It only requires 6 strength and you need 18 in.
Weren't you? Well, you're back. Goodbye. Nice to do business. What is it? Goodbye for now.
This tiny golden aura is the grace of the Erd Tree. This light once shone in the eyes of your tarnished brethren, but now it is all that guides you. Or so I hear. You can see them, can't you? The rays of grace that guide you through your burden. Upon the cliff in Castle Stormvale is a shard-bearer, a demigod, who inherited a fragment of the shattered Elden Ring. If the rays of grace signal the castle, then the Elden Ring beckons you. As an ally by pact, I pray that you are fit to face the challenge presented by the ring. Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment, share them with me. Your thoughts, your ambitions, the principles you would follow. me. I'm searching for my purpose, given to me by my mother inside the Earth Tree, long ago, for the reason that I yet live, burned and bodiless. There is something for which I must apologize. I've acted the Finger Maiden, yet can offer no guidance. I am no maiden. My purpose was long ago lost. Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon. Share them with me. Your thoughts.
In this video, based, meaning you're going to need the blue flasks far more than the health ones. The strategy is better staff early on. Now there is one that you can get.
Hey there friends, it's Kodiak here. Welcome back to Legacy Gaming and welcome to Elden Ring. For all you magic using spellcasters out there, we didn't want you to feel left out, so today we're going to show you how to obtain 2 great magical staves that can serve you well early to mid-game. The first one we need to talk about is the Demi-Human Queen Staff, and fair warning, this one does require a bit of combat to obtain, but should be easy enough if you come prepared. If you're starting out at the first step, you can find the Demi-Human Queen Staff by traveling south across the Bridge of Sacrifice and into the Weeping Peninsula. From here, immediately head right towards this location, Earthbore Cave. Instead of heading down into it, remain on the upper cliff side and travel a little bit further until you reach the Demi-Human Forest Ruins. Here you'll find the Demi-Human Queen, a lumbering humanoid spellcaster of sorts. She'll employ glintstone sorceries throughout the fight if at any range, but can also hit like a truck in melee if you get too close. Once you disturb her, she'll scream and awaken the real issue here, almost 10 additional demi-humans who will flock to her aid. If you have summons, use them here. They'll make your life a lot easier. If not, simply try and bait the small horde away one by one until the queen remains. Simply focus on her at the end, and upon killing her, you'll get 2 rewards. First up is the item we set out to obtain here, the Demi-Human Queen Staff. While this does have C-tier attribute scaling for int, 1 notch down from your starting staff if you chose a starting magic caster, that is. If you didn't have a staff at all before, then this is a great one for getting into sorceries. It also has better sorcery scaling than that starting glintstone staff. Additionally, I have to point out that the weapon can be upgraded because, as you'll come to find out in Elden Ring, not all weapons can. The second item you obtain for killing the Demi-Human Queen is a new glintstone sorcery to go along with your newly acquired staff, and it's a sorcery that the Demi-Human Queen uses throughout the fight, Crystal Burst. It's a low mana cost, shotgun-like ability that's quite fun to use. This brings us to our second magic staff that you can get super early on in the game, the Meteorite Staff. Remember that chest we told early game players to stay away from because it's a total trap that whisks you away to a zone far away above level? Well, turns out, if you make it out of that cave, there is of course some pretty sweet loot that's easy to obtain. For players just starting out, the only thing you need to make sure you do is receive your Mount Torrent by resting at the Agkiel Lake North site of Grace, and you'll need this for where we're going. For those of you that aren't aware of this chest, let me explain how to locate the weapon. From the first step, head east over to the Dragonburnt Ruins and head down into the crypt below. Interact with the teleportation chest and you'll arrive in Palid, specifically in the Celia Crystal Tunnel. Simply sneak out of here by keeping close to the outside wall and head downwards. You'll come across a site of grace near the exit. Make sure to activate it and rest to re-enable your ability to fast travel, something teleportation chests lock you out of. Once outside the tunnel, you'll be on the shoreline of a festering swamp. Merely follow the shoreline all the way to the right. We're looking to position ourselves on the northwestern corner of the swamp. From here, mount up, because fun fact, mounts can wade through hazardous terrain without getting the respective status debuff, like poison. Follow the west side wall through the ruins till you reach this building at the back of the Street of Sages ruins. Inside this section of the building will be a couple of hostile plants. You can choose to kill them to access the loot inside, or even easier, walk around onto the ledge out back and grab it off the windowsill. Simple as that. This weapon is quite literally an S-tier staff. It's one of the few we've come across, especially early on, that has S-tier scaling on intelligence and very high sorcery scaling. It also boasts a potent passive of amplifying any gravity-based sorceries, perfect for a gravity mage. Together, this will make most spellcasting you do early to mid-game extremely potent without the need for upgrading your weapon. Also, funny thing about that, this is actually one of the weapons in Elden Ring that you literally can't upgrade, which is why we only see it being viable up to the end of the mid-game. But that just means you can save your smithing stones for future weapons you obtain that you want to mess around with. Hopefully now, if you're a spellcaster, you know how to obtain these 2 incredible weapons. As always, our goal here at Legacy Gaming is to bring you guides that get straight to the point so you can get back to the action. And if you appreciate that, we'd appreciate your support. Hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Elden Ring boss guides and more in your feeds. Of course, if you still have questions, you can join us on Discord. Our community just passed 20,000 members, and with a small section dedicated just for Elden Ring, there's always someone around to help out and answer questions. Check out the link below to join today. Finally, if you like everything we're doing here on the channel and you want to support us even more, you can do so by becoming a member. For just a couple bucks, you're helping Liv and I achieve our dreams of becoming full-time content creators. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.
Every upcoming MMORPG in 2023.
It's the time of the year again where all of the MMO content creators make one of those list videos talking about the upcoming MMORPGs that might be releasing in 2023. Even though experience has taught us that half of these games will be perpetually pushed back another year, only to be featured on next year's list. Honestly, some of the games featured in this video won't ever come out, and the ones that do probably won't live up to expectations.
They don't have to. All we need is one of them to live up to expectations. We're just playing the odds. Eventually, there will be a good one.
This list will be organised in the order of the MMOs that I'm the most optimistic about to the ones that I'm less optimistic about. But first, sponsor. AFK Arena is the #1 idle RPG hero collector available for free on both Android and iOS. This is a game I've been playing myself for over 2 years now, and it's a chill game to whip out when you're on the train watching TV or enjoying a coffee. In this game, you'll be gathering AFK resources that build
I find it crazy that, like, one of the appeals of this game is that you can play it without having to play it. That is insane to me. But honestly, yeah, it is. That's what people do.
Up daily, collecting epic heroes and combining them in a team that works well together, as well as completing missions, puzzles, PvP, events, and looting generous rewards. Recently, AFK Arena has released a new pet system to the game that adds further depth to the strategic aspect of building team comps. Each pet comes with its own unique art style, ability, and buffs that it provides to your team. They can be leveled up to become stronger, and they're relatively easy to obtain now with free pet vouchers that you get from joining an active union. Figuring out which pet best suits each of your multiple team comps.
It's smart that they can add pets, so then they can sell skins for the pets and like have a pet gacha system and stuff. It's a good idea for them to do this.
Is the key to min-maxing your power potential.
Yeah.
Visually, I also love the art style on them too. Super cute with tons of personality. My favourite so far is the winged lion. It reminds me of a cross between Pikachu and a flying squirrel. Click the link in the description below to download AFK Arena now and use gift codes RYNFZJK85Y as well as DON2023
Well, why can't they just give them a code that says Lazy Peon? Like, I mean, why, I mean, what is this? This is like to defuse a bomb or something.
Displayed on screen.
It's a nuclear
with some
code.
incredible rewards to help you on your pets collecting AFK adventure.
Yeah.
Download now. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that Ashes of Creation is the MMORPG that I'm personally the most excited for.
Yeah.
It's the most ambitious, the business model they're going for doesn't compromise the integrity of the game, it's a nice mix of sandbox and theme park, as well as a mix between both PvP and PvE content. This game has so many features that talking about them all would take too much time.
Yeah, it took like 2
so
hours.
For more info, check out the big Ashes of Creation overview video on my channel that I made a few months back. So when
basically about every 6 months, people get really excited about Ashes of Creation, and then they realize that it's not going to be out for years, and then they get mad about it, and then 6 months after that, they remember that Ashes of Creation is coming out, but then they forget that it isn't going to be coming out for years, so then they get mad about it. And that just keeps going on and on.
Ashes of Creation release. Well, personally, I think we can expect Alpha 2 sometime in the first half of 2023, with beta and full release late 2024. There's no official dates given yet, but by the time 2024 rolls around, the game would have been in full development for 7 years.
Hey there, friends. It's
Hello, might I bend your ear for a moment? My name is Irina. The servant's there. But I swear my good father decided himself. The servants they've since come. I fear it's no different, at least. Would you mind taking a let my soul wish, please? Thank you. Then please, deliver it to my father.
Buying or selling?
me, Tarnished. May I have a word? A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk, I surmise, is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent. As I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee, by Torrent's former master. 'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree, the spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest. Forgive mine I doubt we shall. How long will it be before the time?
Weren't you? Well, you're back. Goodbye.
There's a face I've not seen before. I'm Edgar, warden of this castle, as ordained by Lord Godric himself. But you can see how things have turned out. The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said, and true enough, they're foul inside and out. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Morn won't hold much longer. Take this, by way of apology. I see. From Arena. Thank you. I'm in your debt, but I can't leave yet. Even if the castle should fall, as commander, I must remain to ensure the treasured Sword of Morn does not fall into the wrong hands. If you see Arena, do tell her that her father will come for her once he's fulfilled his duty. If you see Arena, do tell her that her father will come.
Hello everyone, John Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and today we're going to go over where to find the Sword of Morn in Elden Ring. That way you can complete that dude's quest in Castle Morn, and you can have the sword yourself. So, like, comment, subscribe, let's get started. Alright, so the Sword of Morn is found here in the very southern spot of fucking Weeping Peninsula, outside of the Castle of Morn. As I'm sure you suspected, it is a boss fight, and yes, it is that giant beast creature. Normally I don't get opportunities like this, but I'm going to show you why I really like Faith. Now this guy I think is actually weak to fire, so I'm at a big advantage here, but yeah, that's why. Obviously downside being if I use it too much, it hurts me a lot, but it doesn't matter if I can just do this. And that would, of course, if I didn't have the demi-humans helping me, I wouldn't be able to do that, but that's the point. I get the souls, or the little ash guys, to help me, and I can use my spells. Anyways, once you beat him, which is not easy, I think I died like 4 times to him, and I tried him again. I tried him in melee
look at it. Look at what he's doing to me right now. Like, I'm not even getting a breath. All right. But I do eventually beat him. And then once you beat him, you get... It's not actually called the Sword of Morn. It's called... Well, we'll find out in a second. Yeah, the Bladed Greatsword. It's... Grafted Blade. Oh, I get it now. It's like a 50 strength weapon. It's super hard to use. But you have it so you can return to the guy. And he will be up at the top of the castle like he was before. Give him if you give him the sword and the letter, he will agree to leave. If you give him the letter, he'll say, I need the sword. If you give him the sword, he'll be like, well, I'm going to go find Arena type of deal. From there, you can warp back to Arena, and you will find him. Unfortunately, Arena does not make it, and he swears vengeance upon whoever did this. Don't know. I don't know anything about that. I haven't found him again, but if I do, I will obviously make a guide on it. So anyways, that's where you find the Sword of Morn. If you like what you saw, got what you needed. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.